It's time for the Podketeer podcast.
Good morning, Christopher Robin.
Oh, good morning, Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well, glad to meet you. Name's Tigger. T-I-double-G-R. That spells Tigger.
Now, isn't this a clever disguise?
It's time for the Podketeer podcast with your hosts, Mark Tanner and Melody Clark.
This could be about anything. And if you're like me, you wait and see. For I've got curiosity.
Hello, everybody.
Hi. We're talking
Welcome to
about
the
the
show.
animals in Disneyland.
Yep. Sorry if this post's a little late. We were having technical difficulties. So if I go away and Melody completes the podcast, don't be surprised. For some reason, this is freezing up. I really need to I have a new laptop. I just haven't loaded it with all the stuff and that's kind of a couple of day project to do that. And I haven't done it. So I'm guilty.
No, you're just older and like me. I can't do that either. I've got a new laptop about halfway created to do this stuff. So it's all a juggling act. Anyway, good morning. Welcome to Podketeer. You will see the topic of today by the things behind us in our wallpaper. We're talking the animals of Disneyland. And there are lots of them, or have been lots of them in the past. Some of them have moved on to greener pastures, but a lot of them remain. And it looks like ducks behind you, Mark.
Yep, I have ducks. I saw a bunch of ducks yesterday. I was trying, where my technical difficulty started, I was trying to upload my photos from my phone and some videos I had of the ducks, and everything just crapped out. So sorry about that. So I don't have any of the photos. I'm going to have to spend a little time this week getting that sorted out, figure out what's going on there. But something I noticed yesterday, the reason I decided to do one about animals is I noticed all the terrible crap that people were feeding the ducks. They were feeding them popcorn and potato chips and bread and things that are horrible for ducks, especially bread. Bread's the worst because bread has absolutely no nutritional value for a duck. You might as well feed them sponge rubber because that's basically what it's like to a duck. Now, they've gotten used to eating it, so they'll eat it if you hand it to them, but it's not good for them because if they fill up on bread, they're not going to go looking for natural food that would be better for them. Melody's got a list. Melody's got a list of stuff you should feed ducks. Take it away, sis.
Okay, you feed them bird seed, you feed them oats, you feed them cut up grapes, any kind of something like that. You want it in that family. And if you feed them bread, even though it's made from oats, it's also got a lot of stuff in it that birds can't eat. And some species of birds have been known to develop ailments that will kill them. And we don't want to do that. So bring bird seed, bring oats. And I don't mean oatmeal, no clumping oatmeal. Oats, bird seed, any kind of heavy pelt food, anything like that. And talk to the cast members. They know what you shouldn't feed the ducks. If you have a doubt, ask. That's what they're there for.
because you're trying to be nice to the ducks and trying to give them food. You don't want to kill them. And if you keep feeding them that stuff, you're going to kill them. So I've been talking to Disneyland about selling or giving away bird food. I've noticed at a lot of places where there are a lot of birds, they have machines. They're like a gumball machine where you can put in a quarter and get a big handful of birdseed. Well, Disneyland should put something in like that because
They do that.
they don't want to harm the ducks. You can get in trouble for harassing the ducks. It's actually against the rules at Disneyland. So if your kids are chasing ducks around, they're going to get talked to by a cast member because they don't want that to happen. They've removed a lot of animals that didn't, like they had swans in the lagoon, or what do they call it, a moat around the castle. But the fountains, they were not interacting well with those fountains, so they removed the swans from the moat.
All the Disney animals, by the way, that are removed from the park are given homes in petting zoos or other retreats that are specifically created for those animals. So all of the for instance, all of the goats and sheep that were removed from Big Thunder Ranch were homed out to Marietta, one of their I guess you'd call it a ranch, but it's a petting zoo, and they are remembered as a Disney animal, so they're given a special place to live. And the same is the case with the Circle D Ranch horses and any of the equine animals that pull the trolleys or are used on Main Street. They have a regular home in Norco that is called Circle D Ranch, and they're taken care of, and they watch them for disease. And they do the same thing with the ducks and the other wild animals that are in. And there are no, unless they're patently obvious, like all the birds in the tiki room, they aren't audio animatronic. I have actually been asked that one. Is that bird audio animatronic? He's just standing there. He says, no, he likes people. He's used to them. But as you can see from the wallpaper behind me, I don't know if they call that wallpaper anymore. Do they, Mark?
Technically, it's still wallpaper to me. Okay. So it's a background.
Those are the cats of Disneyland. You mainly see them at night because that's when all the rodents are out. So they come out and they run around and they take care of any pest population. And the one in the upper right-hand corner is one of Snickers' relatives. Snickers was one of the original Disney cats, I'm told. And so therefore, all of Snickers' descendants have a special place among the Disney cats. And above me is actually a picture of Walt, and the cat is above him on the train cabin. And I'm pretty sure the cat to the other side has been photoshopped.
At where these cats came from, by the way, when they were originally constructing the park in 1954, they discovered inside the hulk of the castle, it wasn't done yet, it was just a wooden structure, they discovered a little colony of cats, feral cats. Feral meaning they don't have a home, they just roam.
Yep.
And hey, that rhymes.
Yeah.
And they were all removed from the park. Well, what they discovered immediately after they were all removed from the park is that rats took over the castle. So they decided maybe bringing the cats back was a good idea.
Probably a good idea.
So they brought all the cats back and they set up a system. There are cast members who are assigned to feed the cats. They're fed by the Hungry Bear restaurant and over by the Grand Californian Hotel at night. Guests are forbidden from feeding the cats. So if you should happen to see a cat, I have, in all the years I have gone there, I have twice seen a cat inside the park. So it doesn't happen very often. I have seen a couple of mice inside the park, and I'm not talking about Mickey. I'm talking about mice. But so they have managed to escape the cats. So, but if you go, do not feed the cats, because
Do not approach the cat.
You will get into trouble if you feed the cats. Probably you will be told not to feed the cats. And then if you continue, maybe something worse. So don't feed the cats. There are approximately 30 cats at any one time roaming the park at night. When they get too old to do that anymore, they are usually adopted by a cast member. Disney never destroys any of the animals. They never commit them to the pound or anything like that. They're all adopted out someplace. And like
they have a rescue.
Like Melody said about the horses, they actually have a ranch to take care of the horses. Because once the horses reach a certain age, I thought I saw that it was 6, but I'm not positive. They get to a certain age, they're retired. They're not required to pull the wagon. And by the way, I have been told that those horses are especially bred for pulling heavy loads, and they could pull 6 of those trolleys without breaking a sweat. So they don't even notice the trolleys behind them. So it's not like it's a big struggle. They are very
carefully
strong.
Right. They are carefully followed by veterinarians to make certain they're in top health. And the same as
they're checked out frequently by veterinarians. They are brushed and combed and given a bath every day when they're done with their work. And they eat top-notch stuff. So Disney takes good care of the animals at the park. They do.
Trust me, we should be better taken care of.
But the ducks, Disney can't control people feeding the ducks. So that's something we need to control. So if you see somebody feeding, I'll tell you what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start bringing a little bag of bird treats. And when I see somebody feeding somebody something like that, I'm going to give them a little bag of bird treats.
Good idea.
Say, look, and I'll have maybe I'll put a little thing inside as to where to purchase that.
There you go. There you go.
Because we have to get people to stop killing the ducks.
Yes.
And
that can kill them.
That's what's happening. These little baby ducks you see here, they've got to eat right or they're not going to grow up to be mama and daddy ducks. So I don't want to harp on anybody, but that's true. We just have to start treating the animals better at Disneyland. And
I also wanted to point out that Big Thunder Ranch, when it was closed down, all of the goats and the sheep that were there have been transferred to another petting zoo. So they're all, again, well taken care of, paid for by Disney. They're Disney animals, so they're cared for. And they're all living their best lives without people petting on them. So, well, not so many people.
Now, I noticed yesterday at the park, there's a lot of attention to the popcorn buckets right now. And I saw that the Mickey Halloween popcorn bucket was all over the place. And I saw somebody with a cart with 18 cases of the Mickey popcorn buckets. So they're okay. I don't know about the other versions. I know, I think it was last Saturday, they still had the Hatbox Ghost one at the Harbor Galley restaurant in Frontierland. They still, I don't know where else they had them. That's where I noticed they had them. I've seen all the Halloween sipper cups still seem to be there. Those are reasonably priced. If you want some kind of decoration for Halloween, buy one of those things, because that stuff they're selling at the gift shop, especially that plastic pumpkin with Stitch popping out at the top for $60. I'm sorry. That's just crazy. I mean, you can buy, this is what you can buy the ceramic one for less than the plastic one. I'd rather have the ceramic one. Looks much better to me. I would buy that, or buy the ceramic Mickey pumpkins where you put a light in the back, and they have a ceramic Mickey pumpkin mug. Those are all much cheaper. I'm encouraging people to not buy that Stitch pumpkin thing and just teach Disney a lesson that they got to stop gouging people on that stuff, because that's all that's that. Because I'll bet you they're not paying $10 for that thing.
Oh,
and
of course
for
they're
them
not.
For them to put it out there for $60, that's just wrong. I'm sorry, it is. That's wrong.
And of course, the worst part is they're not $60, it's $70.
Oh, you're right. They're $69.99. They're $70. I apologize.
Yeah, it's I have things I'm going to pick up for my grandsons, the younger ones, because my oldest one, he's too mature for this sort of thing, of course. But I'm picking up Spider-Man stuff. It's expensive, but it's not that bad.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
When I meet you on the 3rd,
yes,
I will go with you to the world of Disney, and we can buy all your stuff because I get a 20% discount.
Oh, that would be very cool. Thank you.
And then bring cash.
I'm bringing cash.
I have to pay for it on the app.
Right.
And then you could just
give you the money. Yeah.
Give me the money back.
Okay.
And that way it'll save you a lot of money.
Yeah, absolutely. I have sizes and everything. My grandson Kenny is Spider-Man's biggest fan, so I'm doing Christmas at Disneyland.
Well, what's good is they have the Black Spider-Man now, which he can probably relate to better than
he just likes Spider-Man. He just loves
so
Spider-Man.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
Well, that's like kids. They don't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
They don't care.
Spider-Man.
But one of the twins is into Spider-Man now too, Chubbs. Well, Sean is his real name. We all call him Chubbs. But
well, I'm sure when he gets older, he probably won't want to be called Chubbs.
Oh, I know he won't. No. And the truth is, he's slender now. So he was only chubby when he was a baby. So he's
not a nickname that will last for his lifetime.
Yes, yeah. But anyway, my three youngest grandsons are adopted, and they're wonderful children. My son and daughter-in-law are terrific parents. So, I'm going to spoil them rotten.
Oh, when you take them to the park, make sure you go the day that you go to California Adventure.
Yeah.
Make sure you take them on the web slinger ride.
Well, this trip is for Laura and I. It's to replace our trip to Utah, which we didn't get.
So that's right. They're not going.
We're taking the boys next in November when it's cool.
When you take them on the web slinger ride. I'm not sure if I don't think there's a height restriction, but check it out and see if
I will. We'll
and they have a Spider-Man gift shop.
Oh my goodness, where?
In California Adventure, right across from the web slinger ride.
Very cool. Very cool. All right.
It's in the Avengers campus.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I've never been to DCA before, so this will be a first time.
Well, it's been remodeled once and is about to be remodeled again. So
I heard that. Yeah.
Make sure you ride the trolley because it's going away.
Yeah, I'm going to. But I know. Well, when we were kids, DCA was the parking lot.
Yes. And it had big giant power poles.
Yes.
Going across it.
But I was going to say I'm going to be at the parks September 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, I think. Or is it 3rd, 4th, and 5th? What is today? This is the 1st?
Tomorrow's the 1st.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. And
I was going to say you're not going to be there the 2nd because I'm going to be there the 2nd.
You're going to be there the 2nd. So I'm going to be at downtown Disney on the 2nd. So
wait, you're going to be at downtown Disney on the 2nd?
Yeah, we're going there to have
meet me on the 2nd over at downtown Disney.
Oh, okay. Well, is that going to make
it?
I'll
be at Disneyland. Just tell me you're there, and I'll bop out to wherever you're at, and we can go to lunch.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. We'd take you to lunch, and
there's a couple of good Mexican restaurants they just opened. They're all run by the same
Asian
guy.
Fusion? How's the Asian Fusion one? Do you know?
There's that ding
that one.
I have not eaten there, but I know it's expensive.
Oh, okay. You know, our niece was born in Japan, so she has a favor.
Well, this is Chinese. I think it's Chinese food.
Is it?
It's not. It's not Japanese. It's Chinese. Right. And they have those. They have those little pasta things full of stuff, like from the movie where
dumplings.
The people were,
dumplings.
I guess that's what they're called, but
okay.
Like they had a movie where the lady was making them and one came to life and she ate it.
Oh,
it was a little short that they did.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, anyway, we will be there, and Mark and I guess, will be at downtown Disney on. So if you see us floating around, say howdy. And
I'm going to give my sister some buttons. So
I
if
will have
you
buttons.
are going to be at the park on the 3rd, 4th, or 5th, Melody will post that she's at the park and that she has buttons
Yep.
in the group. So look her up.
Yep. I'll be on a little scooter.
And I'll be there tomorrow on my little scooter.
There you go.
And I will have buttons. And of
So
course,
y'all are well covered.
Donna Jean and Shelby have buttons. So, and Donna Jean and Shelby are out there far more frequently than I am. So find out which one of us is at the park on the day you go, and you can probably get buttons.
Probably so.
And if worse comes to worse, if you're too far away from the park, send me a direct message and I'll mail you a button. And I don't care about the postage. It's like $1. I'll send it to you. No problem.
As long as you don't feed bread to the birds.
That's right. You have to feed the birds better. I'm gonna start harping on that on the group. Don't kill the ducks.
Don't kill the ducks. Donald gets mad.
Yep.
And you don't want to see Donald mad.
Nope.
Donald and the nephews will show up at your door.
Yep. Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Yes, all three.
Now I read a thing about Huey, Dewey, and Louie that there is confusion as to what color shirts they wear.
Oh, is that another one of those Mandela effects?
Yeah, well, in some cartoons, they're wearing certain color shirts, and in other ones, sometimes they swap them out and they're wearing different colored shirts.
Well, I'd feel badly for them if they always wore the same shirts.
Well, in cartoons, that usually happens. Although they're starting to mix it up. Like one thing I don't understand in California Adventure, Donald Duck frequently wears this Chinese hat. And I don't know what the purpose of that. I don't know if it's the year of the duck. Maybe it's the year of the duck. I don't keep track of that.
Well, he might want to pay attention to that because there is Peking duck, you know.
That would be bad for Donald.
As you were saying.
Maybe he's supposed to be a Peking duck.
Oh, well. I'm sure they protect Donald. Besides, let's face it, he's just fur and feathers.
Yep.
But the one thing I have noticed is the prominence of a lot of different characters and the excitement of grown adults at seeing cast members dressed up as cartoon characters. I just think it's really adorable.
Well, people really get mad if you talk about them not being the real characters.
Real one.
Especially the cast members. The cast members will never admit that there is a person in that costume.
Oh, never. Ever. Well, they're not supposed to. So
I remember one time Beverly and Allison and I went to a character thing at Goofy's Kitchen.
Yes.
And they had lots of different characters, and they came around and sat with you. Well, Mary Poppins sat with us. And she sat there our entire meal, never left. And she would not get out of character. I don't care what I said, what I did.
She was probably a method actress.
She was Mary Poppins. I mean, I'd say, oh, when'd you start working for Disney? Oh, well, we made the movie in 1964. Said, look, I know you're really not Mary Poppins. Talk to me. She would not do it.
Oh well.
Which was funny. I
Yeah.
can imagine if you sat there with, one of the ones that don't talk.
We can always, yeah, no kidding. You can always sit there and say, so how come, what was the name of Dick Van Dyke's character? Say the chimney sweep guy. How come he had such a weird accent? It didn't
Bert.
sound at all. Bert, yes, thank you.
That was Dick Van Dyke's character name. It was Bert.
Yeah, Bert. And he had such a weird Cockney accent. It didn't sound at all Cockney. But
And he was now the oldest person from
yes,
the movie left, since the mother passed on.
Yeah.
I think it was earlier this year.
Yes, it was. She was 106, 105.
She was over 100. I know that.
Yeah. So, and I'm sure Dick will be with us quite a while longer.
And just to clue you in about something I talked about on a past show, I've been trying to get a hold of Garner Holt.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Garner Holt runs the company that makes most of the audio animatronics now for Disney.
Right.
And he is the one doing the new Walt Disney thing that's going to essentially replace Lincoln.
Yeah.
I know they're saying it's not going to replace Lincoln, but eventually it will replace Lincoln. And he's also redoing Lincoln. And they say they're going to change that out. Well, if the Walt Disney one becomes much more popular, Lincoln's going to be in a storage container someplace. So
great or small fragments of Mr. Lincoln.
Yeah, well, Disney, I don't want to talk politics, but they disagree with the speech that Lincoln gave. So I believe they're going to, I'll be interested to see if they alter his speech.
Well, that would be anti-historical.
I'm just curious. I'm just interested to see what they do with that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will talk to Walt's family about the Walt, especially for those of us who actually remember when Walt was alive. I faintly remember, but I remember.
Well, I was 11 when Walt died, so I do remember Walt. I remember watching him on.
I do too.
I never got to see him at the park, which is sad. But you and I went to Disneyland several times. I remember that one time they told us we were going to the beach, and then we pulled into the
Disneyland. Then we went to
Disneyland. And we were very happy.
We were very happy, yeah. But we'd have much
so we didn't go a lot because, even though it only cost like $5 to get in, $5 was a lot of money when we were kids.
And also you had to feed everybody, and and going to Tomorrowland Terrace for those god awful cheeseburgers was highway robbery. But it's expensive now, but it's not as expensive as it was. They get it from you right at the door now.
Well, things have changed on the outside of Disneyland, and with the cost of food. I talked about this a while back. A cheeseburger, a soda, and fries at Carl's Jr. costs more than a cheeseburger, fries, and a soda at the Hungry
Inside.
Bear in
Yes.
Disneyland. So you can actually eat cheaper at Disneyland than you can at Carl's Jr.
You go to the plaza and have a chicken dinner, and it's less than it would be at the Mrs. Knott's chicken restaurant. So,
And Mrs. Knott's chicken restaurant isn't
Not
what
what
it
it was.
used to be. Beverly, my wife, went there, and I went there, probably 10 years ago, and it just was not the same. Because, it used to really be good. The biscuits were homemade. Now, you can tell these are all frozen biscuits. They're not what they used to be.
yeah.
The chicken was still okay, but the gravy wasn't as good. The mashed potatoes are instant now, and they used to be homemade mashed potatoes, not
Exactly.
real potatoes, not instant.
Disneyland has several top chefs overseeing their menu. So these guys know, and women know how food is supposed to be put together. So, when you go to a restaurant outside, you're not getting you're not getting chefs, you're getting cooks, which are fine, and thank God for them. And our grandmother was a wonderful cook. But
Yes.
the chefs in the park are the best.
Our grandmother on our mother's side.
Yes, our maternal grandmother. Our paternal grandmother was more like me.
Well, she had aluminum pans, and everything she cooked tasted like aluminum. The only thing she ever made that she didn't really hardly ever make anything when we were over there. We usually
KFC and
walk us
orange
across
cake.
the street. She'd walk us across the street to Omega Burger, and we'd get something over there. Which
Or
I
KFC.
used to like Omega Burger.
Omega
But,
Burger is great.
The one thing my grandmother used to make that I liked was this orange cake. I don't know if you remember it,
I do.
but
I remember it.
it was very tasty.
Yeah.
And she used to buy us this candy called marzipan.
Yes. Oh, marzipan. Yeah.
And it was shaped like fruit, and it tasted like modeling clay with sugar on it.
It's true. I've hated it ever since.
Yes,
Anyway,
it was
getting back to Disneyland.
And I don't believe any of the restaurants serve duck.
No. No, I'm pretty sure that is the case. La Donald.
Naparos might. They're kind of fancy, so they might.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's none of the ducks from the park.
Yeah, that's a different kind of duck anyway. Wild ducks yeah. But anyway, all the animals at Disneyland are very well taken care of. They're better taken care of than some people are, and probably than some of the crew members are. But they are
Cast members.
I'm sorry, did I say crew members?
You said crew members. They're cast members.
We've been talking about my husband retired from Skunk Works at what's it called, Lockheed, and I had to answer a question yesterday on a group I'm on where they were discussing about how they had all the UFOs and aliens at Skunk Works, and I had to tell them that my husband had retired from there, and no UFOs, no aliens.
Well, I remember I used to have a copy of it. They used to have a National Enquirer wannabe magazine called The Midnight Sun.
Yes.
I don't know if you ever saw it.
I do. I remember it.
But they had an article in there about Northrop, the Pico Rivera plant at Northrop, and how there were aliens walking the halls.
Now that would have been
plant.
interesting.
Helping us to build the B-2. And we had a couple of old farts there. We were always, we'd go over and say, "Are you an alien?" I put up a copy of the magazine in the area where I worked at. So,
one of my favorite interviews with Tommy Lee Jones was when he was doing the Men in Black, and he's from Texas, so he has a very dry sense of humor. And they asked him if he'd ever seen an alien. He says, "Well, I am one." And they said, "You are?" He said, "Yeah." "You're an alien?" "Yeah." He was absolutely deadpan, and the guy was, and like 5 minutes in, he starts cracking up. He says, "Yeah, you don't get sense of humor, do you?" Anyway, getting back to Disneyland, the reason I brought up the UFOs is I'm told that the Tomorrowland do-over is going to be more of a science fiction land concept, where they're going to bring in the ideas behind science fiction, and which might help with some of the
that might be different.
Long in the tooth concepts they have now there. It certainly would blend in with Star Wars Land, and I hope they don't.
There's talk about moving Star Tours to Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, I was reading about that.
Star Wars Land, it's Galaxy's Edge.
I'm not a Star Wars fan. I'm sorry.
I know.
I love science fiction, but I'm not a Star Wars fan.
I don't know if you saw my note on the group yesterday that I went into Galaxy Trader, which is a gift shop in Tomorrowland.
Yes, I've been
and
there.
They have two helmets. They have a Darth Vader helmet and a Mandalorian helmet. And I mentioned, I said, "Well, how much is the Mandalorian helmet?" And she looked up, "Well, which one is that?" I said, "Lady, you shouldn't be working here if you don't know the difference between Darth Vader and the Mandalorian."
I know the difference. And I'm not a Star Wars fan. So I've seen the first three movies. I liked those, but
I mean, the helmets are really cool. The only bad thing is I wish they were made out of metal, because chrome on plastic deteriorates over time.
Very much.
And, I'd hate to pay $150 for something that in, 10 years is going to look like crap and you have to throw it away.
Yeah, exactly. So which is the very reason I don't buy ears.
Yeah, I would prefer to. I'd rather pay $350 and have it made out of metal, so it would actually look good for a long time.
Exactly. Are the lightsabers that you put together there, are they worth the investment, or are they?
Well, there are a lot of different levels of lightsabers, and in different places. You could do them there at Star Tours. They have a place there. Over at Galaxy's Edge, they have a little bit more elaborate one, and they range from like $50 or $60 up to $400 or $500. So if you want to buy the kids a $400 one to beat each other senseless with,
no, Mara would quite correctly beat the crap out of me if I did that, and I would not be at all. I could not blame her. So
If
No,
I
I'm
may
not.
make a suggestion,
Oh,
is rather than buying them a lightsaber at Disneyland,
mhm.
I would recommend you go to the toy department at one of the big department stores, Target, Walmart, and buy one there.
Right. Pardon me. I'm sorry.
Bless you. And
Okay.
just tell them you bought it at Disneyland. They're not going to know any different, and it's going to cost you $30 rather
Versus
than
60.
$50. And they're good. I've got one. In fact, hang on just a moment.
Okay. The Magic Cats behind me. We have Snickers the fourth. We have no, that's Snickers the fourth. This little lady, I don't know what her name is or his name. And this one over there is Walt's favorite cat, I guess. I don't know. And don't feed bread to the birds. Over there. Yeah. Don't feed them bread.
Okay.
Okay.
This
Ah.
I bought at Target probably 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh, very nice.
Can you hear the noise?
Yeah, I hear it. That's
And
very
it still works fine. It's still on its original batteries.
How cool. I
So,
can't see the boys liking a lightsaber. Well, at least Kenny at his age. I know the twins wouldn't. But
I think they have a small version for little kids.
Okay.
I've seen some kids walking around the park with the small one.
Okay. Yeah.
So I would
Maybe
take a look at that.
I think maybe the Spider-Man spider they have might be a better thing.
Well, they
We'll
have
see.
a little radio. They have a radio-controlled spider.
Yeah, I've seen them. So,
Now I don't think they're cheap. So,
well, it never is at Disneyland. Besides, Kenny, if you're watching this, go play in the other room because Santa might be listening. So.
Well, I doubt if he's watching the podcast, but
I'm joking.
You never know.
Yeah, he'd have been
Duck!
off in the other room very quickly. But anyway, so we've got a big week ahead of us this week, and I'm going to be exhausted, I'm sure, by the end of it. I've got 2 days at Disneyland and 1 day at DCA, and I'm not going to do the pumpkin search thing because I saw what you get at
Did
the
you
end
see
of
the
it.
prizes?
Like, no.
These little tiny, like that big water bottles.
Sipper cup, I know. It reminded me of when you go to the arcade and you have big loops of tickets and you exchange it for a little plastic thing that big.
Right, at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that.
It's in the 5 ticket thing in Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, that's not gonna work. I won't. I'll get the boys bigger ones if I do. We'll see.
I mean, they're charging $10 to play the thing. You could probably buy 5 of those things for $10.
Well, you could at least buy one, yeah. And without having to do the silly sticker thing.
I mean, I'm sure if you go to Dollar Tree, you could buy something similar to that for $1.25.
Almost certainly. I love these YouTube channels where they go to Disneyland and DCA and a couple of them I find quite good. There's one called Imaginary Lemons, I believe, that the gentleman in it is paraplegic, And so you get to see things from his perspective about getting on rides and that kind of thing. It's very informative. But some of the other ones are fairly, and probably for younger people, they would be good. And one of them dealt with finding all the pumpkins for their child. And at the end of it, the child kind of went, "This is it. This is what I get." So,
I mean, they should have done something like a special stuffed animal.
yes, yeah.
That you can't buy. Now that would have been cool.
Yeah.
And then charge $29 instead of
Right. Yeah.
$10 or something.
Because if you're over
People
there,
would still do it, and then you'd get a good prize at the end.
exactly.
Get something worthwhile. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been there in 2 years, and this time my knees are in better condition. My hips still suck, but my knees are better. And we're staying across the street, so we're just taking the scooter, and our dear niece is gonna walk it, but she's younger and has better legs than I do. So, but anyway, we're gonna have a good time, and we hope to see everybody over there. Where are we in terms of time?
We've got 8.5 minutes.
Okay, I was thinking we were getting close to it, but we're not. Anyway, so
Melody and I, when we're going to be in downtown Disney tomorrow.
Yep.
So I probably won't go on the 3rd, since we'll accomplish everything we need to do tomorrow.
Okay.
About what time are you going to get there?
I have no idea. I'll message you and let you know.
Okay. Yeah. Let me know what I'm going to be there, until probably 6 or 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. Yeah, we'll be there before then, and we can do dinner, and we're going to check into the hotel. We're going the day before to get set up and everything before we go into the park, that kind of thing. And we figured we've been to downtown Disney recently, so well, not recently, about 1.5 years ago. So I'm a little more aware of it than I am, Disneyland.
Well, there is no longer a Tortilla Joe's. It's gone.
Yeah, I know. And the fountain is gone.
The fountain is gone.
And I'm told the Sprinkles place is gone. And they've got a beignet place. I have to say that when you go to New Orleans, to which I've been many times, my son lived there, you go into Café du Monde and you ask for a beignet, they look at you like you've got a weasel on your head. They'll say, "You mean a baguette?" Yeah, I guess I do. So yeah, they don't say beignet in the French Quarter.
So anyway, I will post when I first get to Disneyland. When I go out to downtown Disney and meet my sister, I'll post and I'll tell you where we're going to eat at. And if you would like to come join us, you're welcome to. But I'm not buying you dinner.
Yeah, we ain't buying, but you're welcome to join us.
Yes. I don't know where we're going to eat at. I'm thinking of that Mexican restaurant, the new one.
Okay.
Or Jazz Kitchen, maybe. Okay. Or
what about the Earl of Sandwich place? Is that?
Well, I like the trailer better than the other one. There's right across the street from where ESPN Zone used to be. The building is still there, but it's now some kind of cast member refuge or something, where they can get away from all of us,
which they need.
And they have a big red trailer there, and they sell all the sandwiches and stuff. But their sodas are $3.99, which is the cheapest soda in the park. If you want a
Well, I'm
soda,
bringing sodas with me.
buy it there because that's the cheapest soda you'll find at the park.
Oh, I know. I remember the $6 ones.
Yes, well, that's what they are. So
That's life.
yes, they go up and up and up and up in price.
That's life at Disneyland.
Yep. I mean, if you don't want to spend money,
Don't go to
don't
Disney.
Disneyland. Now, with my pass, I go a lot of times, and I don't spend another dollar. I mean, I've already spent my money on the pass,
Yep.
but the key. I'm sorry, people get mad when I call it a pass. The key. It's an annual pass. People, it's an annual pass. It's the only difference is you have to make reservation, and I have blackout days, which I never used to have. So
That sucks.
I'm hoping those go away, but usually it's like when somebody raises the price on something, it's usually never going back.
Never going down.
So it's unlikely that they will ever get rid of the blackout days. It's more likely that next year there will be more blackout days.
Bingo.
So, like, we will have no days to go in December.
I'm sure they will raise the price of the.
Oh, God, yes. When they get ready, it's going to be a multiple park hopper because there's going to be another park.
Yeah.
Eventually. And there's all sorts of rumors going on right now.
Yeah, I'm told there's all kinds of ideas being thrown around, so who knows?
Well, the one rumor I heard was the one that I hate the idea of, is that they had a meeting in Imagineering where they were told that there was no ride that was untouchable. I hope that's not true, but
I can't imagine it is. I mean, it just doesn't make sense to get. If it's broken down to the point it's not functional, that's one thing. I mean, they were having to start the Carousel of Progress at the end there, or not America Sings.
Well, I am pretty sure that it's going to go in the next update.
And it needs.
I think it should. It doesn't work. It's just a big empty building. Just, take it out, remove it. I know it's going to cost a lot of money to remove it, but it needs to go.
Yeah,
and the Captain EO Theater, that needs to go.
It should have been gone a long time ago, yeah.
The Mission to Mars building, which is now the Pizza Port restaurant. Just get rid of that. Get rid of Autopia and put in the Tron light cycles, which would just about fit in the area that those occupy.
Right.
So, the Grizzly River Rapids over at DCA, there's talk about that going away.
Yeah. Because
they want to use the what's the name of it? The Grizzly Rapids boat ride. They want to use that for the Avatar water ride because the water's already set up.
Yeah.
For that.
Do we really need?
I don't know if the Avatar land is. I'm sorry.
Do we really need an Avatar land?
I don't want one. It's not a Disney film.
Encanto.
I'd much rather see Encanto there. And Encanto is in a forested area that would much better fit with the surroundings. Okay, we got 30 seconds to go here for our 1 hour show.
Anyway, come see us.
Yeah, we're going to be at the park tomorrow And Melody's going to be there the 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and she'll have buttons, I hope.
I'll have buttons.
We connect.
Unless they all grab them from me on Tuesday.
There you go. So you can get your button from Melody or you can get them from me. And like I say, I'll be there tomorrow. I'll put a post in the group when I arrive. And my sister will put a post in the group when she arrives.
I will.
So you guys know where she's at if you want to look her up. And you're not me. You can see anytime you want at the park. This is probably the only time you're going to see Melody this year.
Yeah, definitely this year. Yeah.
She doesn't live close by. She lives like a 2-hour drive from Disneyland. So I could be at Disneyland in 25 minutes from my driveway.
It's a 2-hour drive for me.
Yeah, Melody, it's a 2-hour drive. Okay, so we're going to go, and we will see you next week.
Yep. Play us out, Mark.
We'll play us out. And take care.
It's time for the Podketeer podcast.
Good morning, Christopher Robin.
Oh, good morning, Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, well, glad to meet you. Name's Tigger. Keyholder. That spells Tigger.
Now, isn't this a clever disguise?
It's time for the Podketeer podcast with your hosts, Mark Tanner and Melody Clark.
This could be about anything. And if you're like me, you'll wait and see. For I've got curiosity.